Hey guys, Kevin here. Many of you are cryptocurrency miners like me, but many of you haven't started yet, but you've been reading about it and you're raring to go. But unfortunately, you find yourself in this, what you could call maybe a GPU limbo. It's a funny time right now because we're about 2 or 3 months away from new cards coming out. Now, normally you could say, well, it's still worth buying a graphics card just now, but the problem is we've got new cards coming out in a few months. Right now, there's a GPU shortage, and the cards that are available are overpriced, and it'd be very hard to get your money back from them with the limited time. The reason being that when these new cards come out in a few months' time, for the price they come out at, whatever card comes out, it's going to be more powerful, but it'll also be more efficient. And what this does is, the existing cards, the 1080 Ti's, the 1080s, 1070, 1070 Ti's, 1060s, whatever, all of those cards are going, the retail price is going to come down and the used price is going to come down as well. And a lot of people are suspecting there's going to be a flood of cars onto the market and, GPU prices will fall. So if I was to start today mining, I would say wait until these new cards are coming out, because even if you don't buy the new cards, you can buy the older cards at a much better price, brand new or used. But a lot of you guys are finding yourself in this limbo, and I realise that it must be very, very frustrating. I was talking to Chris Biggers yesterday, and if I bring up my camera, there we go. So he was telling me that he looked at a few of my videos with I've got a mining rig tutorial video to show you how to build it. He looked at a few of my other videos and he was looking at my setup. So this is my setup right now. For those of you who haven't seen, I've got a one PC here with two 1080 Ti's, and I've got a mining rig. So there's basically, 4 mining rigs to be specific, all in one kind of Amazon shelf. So I've got 24 1060s and I've got 4 1080 Ti's at the top there. Now, as far as a building point of view, where am I? As far as a building point of view, building a mining rig, the hardware side is actually easier than building a PC, because when you're building a PC, you need to squeeze the motherboard into you need to squeeze it all into this case. You need to put all the cables around the back. You need to fit a big CPU cooler and make sure it all fits in. It's a little bit harder. The only difference with this is you can keep it all open, but you do need to use those GPU risers. But they're very easy to use and they're very easy to connect. They do sometimes, they are known for being problematic and things like that, but they're fairly cheap to buy and they're fairly easy to install. No problems there. The other side of building a mining rig though is, it's not just installing Windows. You can, of course, install Linux-based systems, and you can install like SMOS and EtherOS, all these operating systems geared towards mining. But assuming you're going to build a Windows PC, well, you need to do a lot of things in the BIOS to recognize the additional cards, and you also have to do certain things such as stop Windows from updating, just little things like this, and you can change things in the BIOS so that if there's a power surge, your computer will automatically reboot so that you don't lose any mining time, because time is money. But as I said, Chris finds himself in, Chris and many other people find themselves in this GPU limbo. But I do think that you can be productive. Now, what you can do with your time is prepare. Now, there's a few different ways to look at this. At the very, very least, I think what you should be doing is learning about mining. You've got a couple of months to learn about this. You don't need a powerful PC to learn about mining. And when I'm talking about learning about mining, I'm talking about mining to pools, seeing how all the pools work with the percentages, with the donation pools, with the setting up wallets, setting up templates, setting up profit miners, profit switchers, all these different things. And if these terms don't mean anything to you, don't worry, they will when you start. And this is what I'm saying. You really should be throwing yourself in the deep end at this point and preparing yourself so that when the new cards come out, you're ready to go. You're ready to go. Now, this is NiceHash. A lot of people say, oh, NiceHash. NiceHash is actually pretty good. It's not always the most profitable thing to mine, but it's not that far off. And sometimes it's, it could even be slightly better. My profit switchers will actually switch to NiceHash occasionally, because it is the most profitable thing to mine. The problem here with NiceHash is that it has a very, very user-friendly interface. In fact, it's so user-friendly that it doesn't really teach you anything. You're kind of you're not forced to learn anything. Now, there is a legacy edition, which I'm not a big fan of, if I'm honest. I tried it, but it wasn't much. But what I would recommend is installing something like Awesome Miner, or multiple miner. There's a few other things as well, and what these do, these kind of act as an overall system for managing your rigs and for managing mining. Now, multiple miner isn't as user friendly as Awesome Miner. Awesome Miner, I would say, is much easier to use, much more user friendly. But, I'm not trying to sway your decision. I'm basing this on the fact that I've got a lot of experience on Awesome Miner. I've looked at multiple miner, but I didn't use it. So I really don't have any authority to say how good it is, etc. But I can vouch for Awesome Miner. Now, what I'm saying is, you've got like 2 or 3 months before new cards come out. And I know that you're raring to go. But in this time, you can download something like Awesome Miner. If you have a graphics card, that's good. It means you can mine and maybe get a little bit of a return. If you've got, Chris said he's got a 1060. But if you don't even have a graphics card, you can just mine with your CPU. You're not going to make money with your CPU. But the reason I'm saying to do this, don't leave it on 24 hours a day, but just to set up Awesome Miner, you can mine with your CPU. And the reason I'm saying this is because it will help you set up pools. Now, through Awesome Miner, if I bring it up here, now you can set up loads of pools. You can set up different workers, different profit switches. I've got my laptop going through it. I've got 4 rigs through it. I've got my main PC going through it. It all works great. And, you can learn how it all works as far as the coins and, all that kind of thing. But really, again, the focus here is on learning. It's on learning. And, in the last few months, just because of using Awesome Miner, I've learned more about pools. I've learned about profit switching. And I've learned about templates. I've learned about a lot of things that I never knew about before. Now, what Awesome Miner does, and what, a lot of these kind of GUI mining software applications do, what they work as is it's a user-friendly way of opening other applications. So Awesome Miner will launch a dedicated miner for a particular coin. So if I'm going to mine Ethereum, it might launch Dual Claymore. If I'm going to mine an Equihash coin, it might load CC Miner or DTSM, or I can choose which ones are launched. Now, these programs are basically like DOS windows, and these windows, I don't know if I can show you actually. Can I? No, I don't have it set up. But basically, these are like DOS windows, and I'll just show you all the commands coming down. Let me see. In fact, I can show you an example. I just need to minimize some things here. Like okay, let's minimize some things. So this is like what I'm seeing just now, and see this. This is CC Miner. This is CC Miner here, and you can see here, this is all the calculations, all the problems being solved, and this is what you will see. And you can configure CC Miner yourself, but I'm not using CC Miner on its own. CC Miner is being launched through Awesome Miner. Now, you can launch CC Miner on your own. You can set up a pool. Like I could mine to say Zcash. I could mine for a Zcash pool, Fly pool, Nano pool, or something like that. And instead of using Awesome Miner, I could download CC Miner, and then I can edit the bat file. But I think it makes more sense to start with Awesome Miner. It's a bit more user friendly. Plus, there really isn't any need to use CC Miner directly when something like Awesome Miner exists. You would only really have to use CC Miner directly if you're using like a modified version of it, and you need to kind of set up some configuration options that aren't in Awesome Miner. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but again, the main point here is that you've got a couple of months before the new GPUs come out. Why not learn about all of this now? Now, there is another thought about this, another scenario. The other scenario would be that, well, you could just learn about everything right now. So take Chris, for example. Chris said he's moving into a new house, and he's very keen to get started. But, obviously I don't want him to lose money. But what he could do is set up a mining rig. But don't buy, like he talked about having 6 GPUs. I wouldn't do that. What I would do is set up a mining rig with 1 GPU, and then you're limiting the loss. And you could use this as a kind of learning experience. So you could set up a mining rig with, say, one 1060 or even one 1050 Ti. The point here isn't to make money through your mining rig just now. It would be to learn about it all. Now, again, you can do this on your laptop. You can learn about Awesome Miner and things like that. But as I said, when you build a mining rig, it's not just the motherboard and all the hardware side of it. You do need to kind of tweak the BIOS, and you need to learn all about that. And, that might take you a few days to learn. But if Chris wanted to, and he wanted to throw himself in the deep end just now, then what you could do is buy, like I use the Asus 270A. You could buy that motherboard. That's a good one for mining. And there are others out there, so do your research, but that is one that I use and I'm very happy with it. That can do up to 8 GPUs with a tweak in the BIOS. Apparently you can do more, but depends on the GPU risers you buy. I'm going off on a tangent again, but really the point is here, we've got 3 months until the new cards come out. So someone in Chris's position, they could build a mining rig just now. But what you could do is build a mining rig like I've got, but only connect one GPU. And you could just buy the cheapest GPU in the market, really. The point is, what that allows you to do is you can set up the motherboard, you can set up the BIOS, you can set up awesome miners, a remote agent, or whatever you want to do, nice hash, however you want to set it up. You can set that up, you can, connect the PSU, the hard drive, connect everything. When these new cards come out, all you have to do is boom, 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 plug the new graphics cards in, and you're already going, because you're already operating. All you're doing is, I've got, say, 4 1080 Ti's on that rig. I could add 2 new 1080 Ti's to that in seconds by just connecting the cables. That's it. The cards will be recognised immediately because I've set it all up, and I'm good to go. And it's the same situation. If you've got the motherboard and the hard drive and everything all set up for mining with, even just a 1050, or even an old graphics card that's like £30 from a car boot sale, that's all you need. It's really just to get you set up, and then you can set up everything you need for mining. You won't make a lot of money with it, you won't, but again, this is about learning. This is about exposing yourself to the mining world and learning about how pools work, how the BIOS works, how everything works. Now, as I said, one scenario, you don't do that, you just download Awesome Miner, you learn all that, and then when the new cards come out, that's when you build your mining rig. Scenario 2, you build your mining rig now, but keep your GPU low so you don't lose a lot of money. You could go out and just buy a 1080 Ti, but really, again, the real money will come when the new cards come out and the other cards come down in price. The reason why you might not want to do scenario 2, and this is why I would advise caution with this, is because you don't know what your rig will be. And that will change how big your PSU is. So for example, I've been using 120 gigabyte hard drives, SSDs. SSDs are the best to buy, guys, because you'll be rebooting the computer a lot. You don't want a hard drive. You don't want a physical hard drive. You want an SSD. They're quicker, more efficient, and the price difference, just buy an SSD. 4 gigabyte of RAM will probably do. A cheap Pentium will do. All of that's good. But the PSU is the one component that depends on the graphics cards. As far as if you only, like, for example, you could build a mining rig there, right? And if you only had like a 1060, you could get away with a 400 watt or even a 300 watt PSU. It doesn't need a lot of power. But if you were building a 1080 Ti, and you had 4 of them, you'd maybe need over 1,000 watts. If you were building 6 of them, you maybe need 1,500, 1,600 watts. But right now, you don't know how many GPUs you're going to buy. The new cards could come out and, they might be 250 watts. They might only be 180 watts. And the price of the card and the amount of electricity that they burn will determine what size of PSU you want. My 1060s, I've got 8 of them going through a 1,000 watt PSU. At the moment, my 4 1080 Ti's have got a 1,500 watt PSU. Now, they could survive on 1,000 watts, but I designed that so that my 2 1080 Ti's here can go back into that rig, and then I've got 6 1080 Ti's. When you know what graphics cards you're going to buy, you will know what PSU to buy. That's my point. So you could just buy a cheap PSU. You could and just use that just now and mine with your your crappy cheap GPU that you buy. That's one scenario. But bear in mind, you'd probably end up selling it later. But that's what I would do to minimize costs. Buy a very cheap used PSU, buy a very cheap used graphics card, and then the loss is minimal. But either scenario is good, guys. Either scenario is good. The whole point of this video is, yes, you are in a GPU limbo. You're kind of hanging around right now. Buying a mining rig right now doesn't make any sense. There's a shortage of graphics cards, and the graphics cards that are available are very expensive. But it's not just graphics cards. You might find it hard to get a PSU as well. You might find it hard to get a motherboard as well, but those things are going to be hard to get later as well. So there is an argument for buying those things just now, so that when you get your graphics cards, you're good to go. Whatever you choose to do, guys, all I would say is do your homework. You know, before I actually pulled the trigger and, you know, set up all my mining rigs, I probably spent about 3 or 4 weeks watching videos, reading tutorials, double checking things, and, you know, I was writing lots of notes down. And by the time I built my mining rig, I'm not going to say I was an expert, but I was pretty knowledgeable on the subject and the problems that I was going to face and the problems that I wouldn't face, and what I'd have to look out for. So yeah, if you find yourself in a GPU limbo, guys, don't just sit and do nothing for a few months. My recommendation is, at the very least, download something like Awesome Miner and familiarize yourself with pools, with templates, with profit switches, with all that. Learn about it, see how it all works. And if you do want to press ahead, don't buy a lot of graphics cards and don't buy the most expensive PSU. Buy the parts you would need, like the motherboard and the hard drive and the RAM and the CPU. Buy all that, but buy a cheap GPU and buy a cheap PSU, and then later on you can sell it, or, you know, put it to the side, or do what you want with it. But I think if you bought a very expensive PSU, you could find yourself in a position where, damn it, I bought a 750 watt PSU, I need 1500 watts or whatever. Once you learn how many cards that you want in your rig, and you don't know exactly what cards you want in your rig until a certain deal comes up or a certain card comes out, and then you go, no, instead of buying 6 of those, I'm going to buy 4 of those, you know, that kind of thing. So do your research, guys, but, you know, just keep learning. I'm not going to profess I'm an expert in any of this, guys, but I have built 4 rigs and I've got 2 1080 Ti's always running my main PC as well. So if you've got any questions about this, please do leave a comment below. Shoot me a question on one of the live streams, and, you know, if I can't answer you there, maybe I can do a dedicated video to explain something in more detail. And if I don't know, someone, you know, one of my other subscribers will definitely know, and we can post the question in the live stream and someone will be able to help you out. No doubt about that. So thanks for watching, guys. Good luck. And again, do your research. Take care.